Alright, you guys can't hear this, but my sound is all messed up. I think it sounds fine for the stream, but I just need one moment here. I'm gonna mute sounds for just a sec so you don't get your ears blown off. Alright, that's happened twice today, which is not good good news at all. I'll have to check what's going on with my sound card, or my motherboard, or whatever the heck's going on. But before we get into this series, guys, big shout out to Raims, R-A-I-M-Z-Z. Thank you very much for subbing to the channel, sir. Also, a sincere thank you to both Cooler Master as well as, or pardon me, CM Storm, as well as Chairs for Gaming for getting involved with this tournament. Now, I think it's actually Cooler Master. I've got the CM Storm logo. I'll probably have to go back and fix that at some point. But at any rate, without these two folks, we would not have as wonderful as a tournament in front of you. So thank you again, as well as to our subscribers. If you sub to the channel, you're, believe it, a sponsor, whether you think so or otherwise, because that's where a large portion of our prize pools come from. But getting into this properly, it's the last qualifying series for the first qualifier of the TSN Europe qualifiers. Spawning in the northern location of the map, let's be Properties Red Zerg player Zanster.
The bottom position as the blue Protoss, it's Nightend.
Alright, Nightend is a weird dude for me. I feel like anytime Nightend, if he loses the first game, I think he's going to lose the series, is my bottom line. I see him leave tournaments quite frequently after losing one game in the qualifying rounds before he even gets to the qualifiers, or anything like that. So it's weird, like it feels like he's very self-defeatist, although I don't know how far he'll take it against someone like Zanster.
Earlier on, we did see his PVT, and it was pretty solid.
Yeah.
Creed didn't really look like he had a chance, to be honest. A macro game, and it would fail to SV pool, and then just Oracle. Am I right?
Yeah, Oracle in that second game was it is what it is. But yeah, I mean, like, I've seen Nightend play a lot of late game stuff. Back in ATC, you know, I remember seeing a lot of his Colossus play stylings, but like I said, I don't get a good chance to see Nightend because he so often will like leave a tournament if he doesn't do well early on. So that's why I'm really concerned about like how this goes. Like if Van Eye is gonna be the first game, does he give up if he loses it, or does he just feel more empowered by winning it?
I don't know. Speaking of the map, are we gonna see Swarm hosts from Zanster?
I think it's very possible. It's definitely within his repertoire.
Well then, it would be a decent map to do so. Seems to favor the Swarm host player versus Mech, especially. In Mech and Protoss, you have a lot of similar deal, except that you could always say that Protoss does get the benefit of War Prisms, I think, more than Mech. There's Medivacs versus Swarm host, but either way, I think it would be quite a strong on this map, and we'll just see if that's the case. I mean, otherwise, like, what can you do, right? Mutas, it's not the best map for them, but it's not like it's totally terrible. And then you have the typical Roach Hydra attacks, you know, Roach Hydra Viper, and that might be a good one. You have to go out quite a ways from your own natural to even find the locations that are decent force-filled choke points. Otherwise, you are just, you know, asking for concave.
That's right. We cast somebody recently who just couldn't find that location over here on the left side.
Oh yeah, that was a Blink Stalker all in.
Well, it had the force fields though.
Yeah.
They couldn't connect here. They couldn't connect here. He just kept fighting in the open. It just wasn't working out. Yeah, this map is pretty widespread. So for Zerg, there's a lot of engagement opportunities that you're not afforded on, say, like King Sejong, or especially on Overgrowth with those tighter chokes and those very narrow hallways. But with this map being the way it is, there's definitely a lot of locations, especially around this watchtower. This is like a Zerg player's wet dream when it comes to engagements. This area.
It's true. Yes. That is true, but that's why we usually don't see people go for it. Now, because this third is, you know, it's a little hard to take, you know, is Nightend going to do any pressure to help alleviate that stress? Or is he just going to try his best to take it, basically, just like a regular macro game? We have two more gateways, which is, it's not really anything so far. I mean, if he had a pile out in the field, he might warp in a couple of zealots, but with nothing on the field, this is going to be, it's going to be hidden for a while. I kind of like this. Like, no one really scouts over there. Yeah, this is it's weird to see an incredibly fast fourth, period. It's weird to see an incredibly fast fourth at the gold, though. Yeah, it's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see. No, it is, though, bold. And it does depend a lot on, like, Nightend not going for an all-in or even a pressure build.
Dodgeball reference?
No, it's fine. So anyways, as you see, Nightend basically has no vision on the map. It's, you know, no, he doesn't even know the third is put down, much less that the gold was put down. Whereas Zanster did get eyes in the third. He got eyes in the main as well, saw only 2 gateways. There's even an overlord in the back that would have seen like maybe the Dark Shrine hidden. So Zanster just has control over this game, and nothing's really happened.
So far.
It is true, it is so far, but it's pretty damn good for him.
That's not a wall off. What's going on here, you old proby bro? You gonna build pylons? He's getting a pretty big gateway wall if actually it'll connect this third. It almost looks like an animal paw print right now. It's a Protoss paw print. But I mean, with chronoing this upgrade, he's got a lot of sentries down for energy. I'm wondering if he's just going to go for an attack. I mean, the third base is the third base, but you could still all in this situation. As silly as it might sound, I think like waiting for stalkers, waiting for the +2, waiting for blink might be a better way to play out this game.
Right.
Just generally speaking.
I would think so. I think the +2 blink stalker all in off of 3 bases is very powerful. You know, it does rely on control. Also force fields though, and we just went over how that did not work for the last person that did it, so I don't know about that. But it would be an option. It does look like he's not going to go for pressure. He goes in the blink stalker, or it's basically the blink stalker building, but it's called a Twilight Council.
The Blink Factory.
Exactly. The Colossus Den. Yeah.
Alright, well, yeah, the Hydralisk then on the way for Zanster, actually. Well, I guess one of the big things for Nightend is he did see that... Oh, no, he didn't see the... He saw the creep. Hopefully he can put 2 and 2 together. But what I was going to say is, like, well, normally this is, like, an okay push, and the timing is scary, and Blink's not done, but there's a lot of sentries, blah, blah, blah. If there's Hydralisks out, they essentially shut this down. It's really hard to actually get good engagements versus Hydralisks, even if you force field them in. But again, going back to what we said earlier, there's only a couple of select locations you can get proper force fields, because they're all really wide open areas.
Yeah. It looks like he's just going to have to recall. Not even an observer with this army, no robo, so he can't clear up the creep, but he's not going to be able to kill that fourth. His answer has Zelnaga, which is now helpful, where usually it sometimes really isn't. But does see the movement over to his gold base.
I like that the Lings had tried to wrap around from behind, the opportunity to possibly pounce on those sentries, but the Queen gets picked off. Gold base should be alright. Again, there's a lot of Hydralisks here, and these are just so good at crushing gateway units. Nightend's best bet, you're right, might be to do a bit of a recall, but... Oh, distraction tactics on the right while the Zealots moving to the left. Force fields are not good, so yeah, the recall pulled off immediately. Now Nightend might have to actually worry about Zanster responding. No, Zanster's going to go for the counterattack, but that's a lot of Zealots that he can't really ignore. This hatchery will fall.
Yeah, Zanster was a little bit supply blocked and had only been building Lings through it, so... not the best at dealing with Zealots. The Zealots aren't targeting the Lings, they're targeting the hatchery, and they will not get it, but it is really low. Hopefully Zanster will go clean up that one pylon. Seems kind of obvious, right? And then go for the attack. Now when he goes for the attack, Blink will be done, +2 will be done. He really didn't use that many force fields, so I imagine there's still a lot of force field energy. Yes. Nightend's actually the one pushing out again. He does have the recall, so you can do this as many times as you use a recall. Be careful.
Still super risky, though. I mean, the thing about Stalkers, of course, for those who don't know why we're thinking so worrisome about this, is they are fairly expensive units, and losing them, even just burning this amount of force fields, is almost a bit risky.
I never expected this position to be used. I know you just mentioned it, but I was like, ha ha ha, if only a pro would ever go over there to
right? Like, if only someone was crazy enough to be out, like, extended like that.
Yeah.
Zealot walking by, it's gonna get caught by one roach.
It probably would be okay if he just traded base for base, but no, he's gonna pull back.
So base trade?
No, if he could trade base for base. You know, I wouldn't call it that.
I would. You know why? Because it's base trade TV. The Hydras down the middle of the map are going to be... I don't know, it's never fun off a creep. Even if you do have muscular augments, it's still not exactly the fastest moving unit in the game. So it's always a little bit risky when you're worried about what could possibly come. But Colossus aren't quite out yet, and even if they were, there's no extent thermal lance. Oh, that's a little bit awkward. There's supposed to be a cannon in there.
They're good enough.
Kind of like having 2 cannons. Hallucinations just chilling. Zanster, it's not that he's not engaging that surprises me, but it's more that there's not a lot of scouting going into this. Like, he's not trying to dart 6 lings by to see what the composition of his opponent looks like. Nice Warp Prism play out of Nightend while she distracted on the right side, but now he's going to completely surround a Concave on the other side of the map. That Colossus is going to do what it can, but it's going to get focused out quickly if not careful. The sentries are just, he blinks away, he abandons them. Says, I've already used up all the force fields, who cares? The Colossus is going to do what it can to hold against this. It's still not, no extent thermalized because it can't really fight the Hydralisk head on, but the Roaches are the one that is killing it, weirdly enough, so it's going to fall. Now it's Hydras versus Stalkers, and I think we all know how this game goes. It's +2 upgrades versus +2 upgrades. Oh, but the Hydras on the left side aren't really fighting. They're shooting the Nexus instead, so this army is actually starting to get ahead just a little bit. He kills the Gold Lace while this goes on. We're personally heading to the natural. This might have been a very acceptable loss for Nightend.
24 mutas are on the way, so I would say no.
Oh, yeah, okay, that transition. Sorry, I got tunnel vision. Looking at the crazy engagement. Yeah, with those Stalkers going down, yeah, the Colossus is cool, but it's never going to deal with the Mutalisks.
And what it is so bad is that I cannot believe the Lings got the surround that they did.
Yeah.
That was a mess up by Nightend. Nightend had a good wall. A couple of force fields would have blocked off most of the Lings. They would have gotten diced and sliced by one Colossus. He could have held much better. But now it's going to be very hard to hold because Mutas will be attacking the right side. And Ling and Roaches will be attacking the left. And it no longer even has a potent overcharge because the mothership died and it's not a Nexus right now.
The Stalker's going to buy some time. I mean, +3 weapon upgrades is good, as we can see. Not bonus damage versus the list, but they do fare pretty well against them. So, Zanster not exactly spiraling out of control, but it's the attack on the left at the same time that goes on. Actually, this gets completely shut down by the Colossus in the front. But so laggy, GG is called, sad face. And Zanster will take game number 1 in this best of 3.